It's multiplayer alpha testing time. Welcome to this video where I will show you how to get the public multiplayer alpha version, what to expect, how it works, how we can use it, and some stuff like that. But first, let's start with a disclaimer. This is an alpha, which means that this is early in development and therefore have a lot of bugs, a lot of missing features, lack of error handling and stuff like that. For instance, you will see blueprints not working and some other stuff not being as it used to. Therefore, please do not review the game positive or negative based on what you play in this alpha. It's very important that you only leave reviews of the released version of the game and not based on an alpha or beta or some other experimental version of the game. Because of course I would like to have reviews, but it should be of the released version and not any test versions like we are looking at today. So with that out of the way, let's figure out how you can get to this public multiplayer alpha version of the game. So in Steam, you find Fireworks Mania, right click, then you click on betas, and under the beta participation, you select this little drop down here. You can see I have multiple ones here. You will have fewer, but the ones you are interested in is the multiplayer public alpha. Then the game will update, and once it's updated, you can start the game. As you can see, I've cheated a little and have two versions running. This is a special build of the game, so I can do this, but it's only to show you how things work, because showing multiplayer in a single instance of the game is not really that useful. So I have to do this to be able to show you what I'm about to show you. There's a little yellow disclaimer down here telling about this public alpha and the dates and stuff like that. Another note is that the workshop is a little different. It's also pointing to a different version of the mod.io that you're used to from the regular game. This is a test version of mod.io, so you cannot log in, and only modders that I have invited to mod.io can actually put up mods here. But anyway, besides that, it works as it used to. So when you get into the select map UI here, you will see that it looks quite different. You have maps over here. Currently there is only flat map and whatever custom maps you have installed from the workshop. And then you can start a host and join a host via a join code. The game multiplayer wise works so that one of the players is hosting the game and all the others are joining the host. So there's no server you can join other than your friend's version of the game, you could say. So one of you will click host and the other ones will put in a join code here and then join. Another note is the mods, because the way it works is that when you join a host, all the mods that the host have activated will also be downloaded and installed and activated on your machine for that game. So you don't have to agree on what mods to install and everything. The host controls that and decides what mods should be there. There's currently no voice chat or in-game chat, so I created a little feature on my Discord where you can create a voice channel specifically for you. You can typically use this if you want to play with somebody you don't have as a friend already, because typically you will just have a private call on Discord or something like that. But in case you miss it, you can click this little one and get to my Discord here. And there is a new thing called multiplayer alpha here where you can put in join codes. This is also a way to find new games. You can put in a join code like I've done here, and then people can join based on that join code. Of course, only as long as your game is running. So if you want to have a public game, you could say, you can put it in here, join code, and say to people they can join. And then you can click on this, click to join, and you will get into your own little, this one's called MANIA's channel, and it will be your username channel, and then people can join this one. Just as an alternative to having a private call. Anyway, back to the fun stuff. So let me put this back over here. So we have two versions. So this one is hosting. So we, of course, this didn't work because I didn't select a map. And this is another note that is very useful in this alpha, because there is a lack of error handling and error messages and stuff like that. So in this case where I'm clicking host, start host, nothing happens, and you're thinking, what, it doesn't work, what is wrong? You can always hit F1 and then get to the console. And in here, you can typically see error messages. So like unable to start host without a map selected. Oh, so I most likely forgot to select the map. Start host, and then the game loads. And then you will be here in the flat map. Okay, perfect. So now let's invite a friend over here to the right. So let's just do this so we can better see. Down at the bottom, you can see the join code for this particular game. So the client, your friend, goes in here and types in the code and hit join. Then it's connecting, and here we are in the same game, and you can see each other and play together. basic stuff like spawning stuff and workshop my fireworks works. Again, there are some limitations to the physics, and also there are some things that only the host can do, like for instance changing the time doesn't work on the client, but if we do it on the host, it actually changes for both the client and the host. So there are some stuff that is host only. So what we can do on the host is to go into the console, F1 again, and type fm-host dash, and here we can see all the commands we can run as the host, like list players. So we can see we have player 1, 0 and 1, and we can see their ID here in the parentheses. In a normal game running via Steam, you will see the Steam names here instead of this player 0, 1 and so on. So let's say host, and we can say max players. So here you can see that the game is predefined to allow 5 players. So that's 5 plus the host, as I remember. So that means 6 in total. But if you want to change that, you can do it like this and then max it out to 32. 32 is the max currently that is supported. Most likely you can run this much unless you're just walking around, but via this alpha test we will also do some testing on that now that we are more than 5, 6, 7 people that can actually join. So that will also be interesting to try out at some point, I think. Another command that is useful is the max allow player spawned objects. So that is default to 250. This is a limitation of the multiplayer where I have to limit how many things can actually be in the game at the same time, because the more we have in the game, the harder it is to sync up via the network. So I have to put in some limit, but you can change this limit, but just be aware that it can get into a state where it gets out of sync or crashes and stuff like that. But you can set it to 1000, and then we will have 1000, and then we can see it's set to 1000, and then we can spawn 1000 of things. It's a total in-game amount and not actually a per player, even though the command is called that. That's just, yeah, some old naming stuff that I might change at some point. There are more commands to play around with, like here is the host player over to the right, and he have no hats, so we can put in fm player and customize, and then we can pick a customization like the male hair, for instance. Boom. And then he's wearing some nice male looking hair. So that's it for now. I'm really looking forward to see you guys play multiplayer and look forward to your feedback. Feel free to post feedback in the Discord. There is a link in the main menu of the game where you can click on Discord to get in there. And please share photos and videos on YouTube and live streams. You are allowed to do that. And I would very much like to see stuff like that, because it helps me a lot with figuring out bugs and figuring out how things should work and what works and what doesn't work. So have a nice 10 days of public multiplayer alpha testing. See you in the next video. Bye.